The Comfort Zone with Ray Comfort. Thought-provoking. Informative. Engaging. Are you ready to be inspired and equipped? And now, The Comfort Zone with Ray Comfort.
Welcome to The Comfort Zone with Ray Comfort. I am Mark Spence, and sitting over in the Dean's desk, we have Eddie, the legend, the BMX rider himself, Roman. Woo! Eddie Roman. There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen to the crowd.
Wow. God has the hair on your head numbered.
That was exciting.
That was plural, was it, Mark?
You know, in the Greek, that word numbered actually means labeled, right?
It does?
That God has the hair on our head named.
That wouldn't work for me either. That wouldn't work for me either.
But that's how in tune God is with his creation, and that doesn't surprise us because God is intimately involved with all of his creation.
You think about it, every atom in that singular hair is made and seen by God and held together by him.
That's right.
What singular hair?
It's mind-blowing. Mind blown?
Sorry about that. Just so excited that Easy's not with us today.
Yes.
Let me rephrase that. That came out so wrong.
I don't know.
I'm excited that Easy is ministering in Mexico today.
And gone from here.
And he's gone. He's gone with the hair. Gone with the hair. Wind. Gone with the wind. Well, we're dealing with an interesting topic here today. Man beheads Jesus statue. There it isn't, right?
Oh, boy.
His head perished. That's why it's from the parish.
More interesting than that is the guy's response on what he did. Listen to this, Ray. A Colombian man on Sunday beat the head off a statue of Jesus. According to the police, 38-year-old Charles Jeffrey Short was arrested near Sacred Heart Catholic Church. This is what he said. He said, I think I used a sledgehammer to strike that statue about 6 or 7 times because the first or the second commandment states to not make an image of a male or a female to be on display in the public, he reportedly told the officers.
I hope he doesn't link back to our ministry in any way. What does he mean? He thinks he used a sledgehammer. Was he drunk?
Well, apparently, because he doesn't even get the commandment correctly.
I know, male and female. He's, in the beginning, God made them male and female.
Don't make an image of a male or female to be on display in public. I really don't even know what to say about this guy.
You know, I've got something to say. Well, just don't talk about the guy. We'll talk about what he did and how, in a sense, he's right. The first and the second 10 commandments say you should not make yourself a graven image, you not have any other gods before me, you shouldn't bow down to them. And I'm not a big fan of pictures of Jesus. And for this reason, nobody knows what Jesus looked like, number one. And that's why I like the movie Ben-Hur, where they never showed Jesus' face, left it up to your imagination, because how could you describe the face of Christ? So I'm a bit nervous with the new Ben-Hur movie coming out because I'm sure they're going to show his face and he's going to be a blue-eyed California dude that talks like, Eddie, can you do your California dude thing?
I could try. No, I can't. I can't do pre-described humor. I can only do it on the spot, so we'll try it again.
Oh, well, it was wonderful anyway. Like a California dude that just says, like, totally I can walk on water type of thing.
Gag me with a spoon. That's radical.
What?
Rad.
I'd like to go to the beach.
Oh, that's very good.
And ride my skateboard.
You've just redeemed yourself.
Thanks.
Thank you. Like
Okay,
totally.
Ray, okay, devil's advocate here. Let me help this guy out a little bit because Chuck Jeffrey Short does not have this right. But this is what the scripture says. Exodus chapter 20, verse 4. It says, you shall not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them nor serve them. Ray, there should not be any statues of angels. There should not be any statues of Jesus. Here, Scripture's agreeing with you, so
you know,
what's the problem?
The problem isn't the statue, it's the person who venerates the statue.
That's right.
If someone gives any adoration, any homage to an image, then it becomes an idol, and you've caused them to sin as seriously as you're causing someone to commit adultery. They're violating that commandment. So it's a very serious thing. So if someone comes to your home, you've got a picture of Jesus, and you like it, you don't worship it, but some kid walks past, you're like 9 or 10 and goes, oh, there's Jesus. Then that's become an idol to him, and he's venerating it. So that's when it becomes bad.
Right, and that's what the text says. If we just go on, you know, I like what Greg Kokel says. He never read a single Bible verse.
That's good.
Because we need to put verses in their context with other verses. In the following verse, it says this, you shall not bow down them or nor serve them, for I, the Lord, am a jealous God. So the context is, there's nothing wrong with the statue, there's nothing wrong with the image, it's what do you do with it?
Right.
Are you bowing down, are you worshiping this idol, whether in your mind or with your hands?
And plenty of people do worship dumb idols.
They do.
You can see on television, Easter and at Christmas, they carry idols through and everyone's venerating, giving honor to something that's made of wood or stone or clay or whatever, and it's just dumb. It says, they that worship them are like them. Idols are dumb, they don't think.
All right.
And if you worship them, you're dumb, you don't think.
Yeah.
Because that's so stupid. How can it be the creator?
And the idols, here you have these statues, they have eyes but they cannot see, they have ears but they cannot hear. I like what the apologist Don Stewart said. He said, I believe that one of the reasons why we don't have the original Bible, the original autographs, is because we are going to have some group out there that's going to worship this text. So God in his wisdom says, all right, none of that nonsense. Let's move that to the side and we're not going to mess with that.
That's why we keep it quiet, that in our lobby out there we've got the Ark of the Covenant.
The Ark of the you just gave it away.
They blew it.
The Ark of the Covenant. You're going to have to come to the building to see the Ark of the Covenant. Ray, did you build that?
I think I had a guy build. I painted it gold, and I love doing it with spray paint.
I love the way you work. I mean, our latest thing that we have out front, I can't even describe what it is. This fountain that you had erected up, it's like a faucet with nothing connected to it, but water's coming out of it.
Yeah, we'll have a little video of it on Monday.
Monday. That
Whenever that
means
is.
whenever that day is.
Yeah, we don't need to go there.
Eddie, what are your thoughts on this decapitated statue?
You know, in Daniel chapter 3, we have a really good example of how a follower of God is to react when there's an idol around. So in Daniel chapter 3, we have the king putting up this huge idol and commanding everyone to bow down and worship it. And what we don't see is Daniel coming out with a sledgehammer and destroying the thing. We simply have him ignoring it. You know, he just doesn't worship the idol. It's there. He doesn't make a big deal about it. He just doesn't worship it. He worships the true and living God. And then, you know, obviously the rest of the story, things go on from there. But to break the law by destroying someone else's property, you know, that's an issue as well, because Romans chapter 13, we're told to basically obey the rules of the government. And so for someone to say, I'm going to go and vandalize and break the law in order to do this thing that I think is right according to God, that just doesn't make sense either. So, you know, this guy's last name was, did you say it was Short?
Yeah.
I think he had a short temper was the problem. So anyway, I wish the guy the best as he sits in
If Peter was
prison.
there, he would have cut off the ear.
Could be.
And then Jesus would have healed it back up. Ray, Living Waters, God is doing some amazing stuff through Living Waters, through the books that you've written, the movies that we've produced, the tracks. I don't know how many millions of tracks that we've sold, but they've gone worldwide, so much so that we have agencies in different parts of the world. Well, we want to introduce to you our European agent here, John Harris, who's doing a tremendous work over there in Europe. John, welcome to our program, The Comfort Zone.
Hello everyone. It's great to see you all. Thank you so much for inviting me to the show. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you've got Lebanese blood, is that right? Like Easy?
I'm afraid so. I was just wondering whether Easy's not there because the show hasn't got enough room for two Lebanese men.
We've got two Jews in here, so we would have had room, but Easy's out doing something.
Well, that's great. Well, we thank God for the work that you're doing out there. I mean, as we just look past you and we see really the storefront, part of the store of the work that's going out there, we begin to scratch our head. Is God done with Europe? It seems like such a cold place. You know, you begin to share the gospel with somebody out there and nobody really wants to hear it. Is that really the case, or do you find yourself being able to engage in conversation with people?
Well, to be honest, I think it's a great misunderstanding. I think people are very open, and there is some confusion. I think Europe is ready to receive the gospel, and we find this time and again as we go out there and share the gospel. People receive it like they've been waiting for it all their lives. So yeah, God is doing wonderful work here in Europe, and it's ready. It's really ready.
Boy, it's so true. If you do present it biblically, it makes sense to people. I mean, they can have everlasting life. Who in his right mind isn't interested in everlasting life if it's presented clearly? John, how did you find out about Living Waters? It was defunct for a while. Did you hear about it? And then what made you start it up again, resuscitate it, call Lazarus out of the grave?
Right. Well, it's really interesting because I've known about Living Waters and the Way of the Master for a decade or more than that, actually, a couple of decades, and always been, in awe of the material that exists that helps with witnessing and evangelism. And I had my own ministry in the UK called Creation Science, and through that I got to know Jim and I got to know about Living Waters Europe. And we kind of built a relationship and started selling his material on our website. And then later on, something unexpected happened. Out of the blue, I got an email like everybody else did, and it said that they wanted, the Living Waters Europe was shutting down. I was absolutely convinced that this was spam. So I kind of rushed to the phone, and I went straight to Jim McMaster, and I said, what I wanted to tell him is the fact that I believe he had a virus. So sending out these messages. So I picked up the phone and spoke to Jim, and he told me, no, it's real, it's shutting down. I was absolutely devastated that he didn't have a virus. So I actually told him, I told him that, no, we can't shut this down. This is absolutely far too valuable. It must remain in Europe. And I said, is there something we can do? I'll take it over. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll make it happen. And he said, well, why didn't you, John, tell me this 3 months ago? And to be honest, if I were a prophet, I probably would have told him, but there was no way of me guessing this. So I literally was devastated by that, and I told him, no, I'm willing to take it on, and I want this to continue. This must happen. So he put me through to Easy. He said the best person to talk to is Easy. And I said, Easy, well, I know that's an abbreviation for a name. I said, what's his real name? What does it stand for? And he said, look, Brother John, you can't pronounce it, so I'm going to spell it for you.
He's a Scot, doesn't he?
That's right. So he went ahead and spelled it for me, and I thought, wait a minute, Emil Zwain, that sounds like a Lebanese name. I said, what nationality is Easy? He said, he's Lebanese, brother. And I said, what nationality am I, Jim? He said, I haven't got a clue. What nationality are you, brother? I said, I'm Lebanese as well. And he said, I didn't know that, brother. And he got all excited and telling me about all his friends that he knew that are Lebanese and so on. Later on, he discovered that I'm half Lebanese and half Armenian who married a German. So, and then we had children, and we have 3 children. That I bless them, totally messed up because of that. We have 3 children, I think 1 of each. I think we've covered them all.
That's funny.
Well, that's neat.
So that's how we got involved.
That's splendid. I mean, that's absolutely wonderful. Easy sends his love. He couldn't be here, obviously, to do that himself, but he speaks very highly of you and the ministry that's happening out there. We're very grateful for the work that you're doing. What are you currently doing in the UK? Maybe you can expand on that in just a little bit.
Sure. Well, we're blessed. We have a team of 35 members, and they've all been trained over several weeks. We had a 15-week training course, 2 hours each time, and they're all equipped and ready to go. And each person has got their own kind of skill. Some of them are really good at music production. Some of them are extremely good at editing videos. That's my son, David, and he's absolutely brilliant at it. Everything you see out there is his editing work. We've got people who are good at talking on camera, people who are good on camera. So we've been very heavily active going out there, spreading the gospel, telling people about Jesus. And we regularly go from town to cities and tell people and stop them and talk to them. We've been developing witnessing videos, as you know, but we would like to get even deeper. We'd like to get into the documentary, doing our own documentary relevant to Europe. We've got some ideas how to reach out to a lot of people, and we'll be sharing with you that hopefully in the future. But our goal is very simple. We simply want to share the gospel with every man, woman, and child. And we want everybody to hear the gospel and for the rest of Europe to follow that and spread it everywhere.
Nice. Well, we have a video that we want to share with you what's happening in Europe. Take a look.
giving out these tracts to people, and we're going to find out what they believe happens to them after they die, and also tell them about the proclamation of the good news of Jesus. We pray it goes well and the Lord is with us. Amen.
What is the benefit of being a Christian?
To be honest, I don't know.
If you look at a building, then you recognize that there's a builder. If you look at creation, then you've got to recognize that something has to have started it.
You said, well, I see a building makers, as in builders, yeah? But you could say, I don't see creation makers. But let's say you never saw building makers or painting makers or table makers, you would still know it required one, right? Even if you didn't see it. So that analogy would still make sense. Even if you'd never seen a person put up a building, you would know that building required an intelligent builder. Would you agree?
Yeah, completely.
It's probably the best explanation I've ever heard of, like, for creationists.
Have you ever looked at a person with lust?
No, I don't know.
You're a bloke, try again.
Yes.
So how do you get into heaven? What do you have to do?
You have to be able to please yourself, and in doing so you please God.
Please yourself? So what if I said what pleases me is to hurt other people?
I think everyone should have the right to go to heaven.
Even Hitler.
But what do you think happens when a person dies?
Nothing, that's it. You rot, you decompose, and you go back to the earth. That's it.
Well, could I give you a quick question to see if you've got a soul? Would you say you've got a free will?
Yes.
Where does that free will come from? If your body's just chemicals that work off deterministic chemistry that always does the same uniform processes, and you're just 100% chemistry, how are you doing that if you're just chemicals?
If there was such a thing as God and heaven and hell, and you could know this for sure, would you not want to know and be reconciled and get it right?
Got to tell you, John, I think that guy at the end had fake ears. What did you think?
I thought it was the nose.
No, it was the ears. I got this sort of sense of discernment. Anyway, wonderful production. It's just so thrilling. I love what you're doing. Please keep it up.
Amen.
How can people find out more about Living Waters in Europe, and how they contact you and buy your stuff and support you financially?
Oh, well, it's quite easy to get in touch with us. Obviously, we have a website that's livingwaterseu.com. We've had a lot of people contact us already, and some have even joined us for the outreach just to see how we do it and what we do, and they're very welcome for that. And you can contact us on facebook.com/livingwaters.com. Facebook.com/livingwaterseurope. That's what I meant to say. And you can also find us on youtube.com/Living Waters Europe. And if all that fails, just go on Google and type Living Waters Europe, and hopefully we should be the top first or second on that list. So
a lot of slashing going on there, John.
A lot of slashing. Well, thank you so much for joining us, John. We love you. God bless you. We pray for you and your ministry regularly. Ray, all right, hey, quick question for you. Here we have people watching the show saying, hey, I'm part of Europe, I live in Europe, I'm nowhere near there, or I live in an area where it's just dark. Nobody wants to have anything to do with the gospel. I try to hand out a tract. It seems like God has forsaken the city. What do? I don't have the fellowship that you have. I'm not surrounded by brilliant people. I'm not surrounded by like-minded individuals who want to go out and share the gospel or open air preach. It seems like I'm an island unto myself. What do I do?
Just give up.
Give up. Throw in that towel. Good answer. Next question.
The end.
You know, you're never alone. God said to the prophet, there are 7,000 that haven't bowed the knee to Baal. So God knows those around you. You're never alone. Never be discouraged. Your work and labor in the Lord is not in vain. So read 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. about 10 times until it's in your spirit. So that what you do is never in vain for God.
Yeah.
Now, Ray, didn't Mark just describe you just then, all those years in New Zealand, open-air preaching by yourself?
Yeah, it was pretty much like that, yeah, and just keep doing it. Prove yourself faithful to the Lord, and nothing's too hard for Him. He opens doors, you know, and right in the right time.
And I think you nailed it. Your labor, when it's in the Lord, it's not in vain.
Never.
So you can labor, but if it's not in the Lord, it doesn't matter how simple it may seem or how much fruit it may seem like you're getting. If it's not in the Lord, it is in vain. Right. But when you do it in the Lord, Lord, I know that you are faithful. I know your word's not going to return void. And even if these tracts are rejected, you're at work.
Right.
You know, I mean, I think of the gospel tract that I found down at the park that was pivotal in my salvation. It was crumbled up on the ground. You know, what happened? Did somebody give that tract to an individual and right in front of them they threw it down on the ground? I found that tract and I read it and it was pivotal in my salvation. So we can't lose heart. We mustn't lose heart. We have to march forward.
Remember that story of the guy who was diving, frog in throat, not tadpole, trying to evolve into a frog. No, I'm fine. I need to drown it, Mark. Thank you. This guy was diving under the ocean, and he looked up and he saw a gospel tract floating, and he grabbed it and read it, got saved. He said, if God would go to this depth to reach me, then I give up the battle. What a wonderful story.
Love it.
That is true.
All right, so we have an email from David. When open-air preaching and someone asks a question attacking the Bible's credibility, do you ignore the question and continue on, or do you spend some time defending the Bible, which may show the crowd that the Bible needs to be defended in the first place? What do you do when somebody brings up, hey, you can't trust the Bible, it's filled with errors?
I usually say, could you give me an example? And then I just deal with that example. Usually there's some sort of misunderstanding. So, yeah, the Bible doesn't need defending ever.
Right.
You know,
just needs to be unleashed, Spurgeon says.
Yeah, really, just let the lion out of the cage. So, yeah, don't spend too much time, because if you ignore someone, it's going to look like an appearance of evil to a crowd. You just don't want to answer them because you haven't got an answer. But give him time and then just move on real quick. Get to his conscience.
Yeah. Eddie, what do you do?
Yeah, usually when someone brings up an objective like that, I'll say something like, what do you mean by that? And then, as Ray said, you deal with whatever he's talking about. But sometimes someone will just want to push this issue. And when that happens, I might, do the old side 10 Bruggenkate method, where basically just deal with the issue of truth. So if someone doesn't believe the Bible, I might say, well, why don't you think the Bible's true? And then I might ask, what is truth according to your worldview? Yeah. And then from that point on, they're going to quickly reveal that they have no idea what truth is. And from that point on, every time they say something, every time they make an assertion or a claim, I could just go back to, but you don't know that's true, because you don't know what truth is, do you? And so a lot of times I'll actually spend quite a bit of time there just trying to help this person to understand that without an absolute standard, without God, there is no reason for truth. Therefore, to say that anything, including the Bible, is true or false is just ridiculous.
Right.
That's true.
That is true. Truth is that which conforms to reality. But the problem with that definition is whose reality? Because our university students are being taught that if it's true to you, then it's true. If you think that it's true, well, then it's true. And truth is this subjective word that's thrown out there with no real meaning and understanding. Let me give you a better definition. Truth is that which conforms to the reality of God's mind. What God says is true. He said that He is the truth. So if He says it's true, it is true. All right, we're leading on to a trivia question, something that we are enjoying to do lately. The first correct answer inside the chat room gets to win this book. Heaven. Made in Heaven. You wrote this, Ray.
Well, I did a lot of it, but Jeff Cito, the brilliant husband of the brilliant Diane, who's there she is aerospace engineer, a rocket scientist. Jeff and Diane have driven me miles and miles all over the place to speak at different venues, and I noticed as we're driving there that Jeff had a brain.
Good job, Jeff.
Yeah, and so we took advantage of it, and he's done a wonderful job.
Well, nice. So the first correct answer to this question inside the chat room, not on YouTube, but in the chat room, gets to win the book. Here's the question. In which book of the Bible does a prophet marry a prostitute?
How come there's no sort of funny picture with that one?
Easy, shut that down, Ray. Shut that down.
It was a difficult one, that's why.
Yes, we don't know. All right, well, while you answer that question, we're going to find out who answered correctly while you watch this video. And the answer is Hosea. The winner, well, you got to jump into the chat room to see who the winner is. You know who you are. Go ahead and email us. Email us at email@tczlive.com. You have 30 minutes when the show is ended to write to us and say, hey, I'm the winner. Put that in the subject heading. As a matter of fact, say, I'm the winner, and we will send you that book for free. Well, that's it. We are all out of time, Ray.
Good.
We did it again.
Good.
We get back to eating some lunch. Well, God bless you. Thank you for joining us on the Comfort Zone with Ray Comfort. I am Mark Spence. Emil Zwain is not here, but Eddie Roman is. Look us up on Facebook and on YouTube, on Twitter, all of those social media outlets. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you tomorrow. And remember, we invited you into our comfort zone to get you out of your comfort zone. Now go out and share the gospel for the glory of God.
For questions about the Comfort Zone with Ray Comfort, or to submit questions for future shows, please email us at email@tczlive.com. That's email@tczlive.com. The Comfort Zone is an outreach of Living Waters. For more resources to inspire and equip you to fulfill the Great Commission, check out livingwaters.com or call toll-free 1-800-437-1893. Now go and preach the gospel.